You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where today we're presenting from our houses and not a jerk chicken shack outside Tooting and Mitcham Football Stadium. Once again, unfortunately for us, though, we will be talking about the second test. It has now concluded. England have gone 2-0 down in the Ashes, and it looks like a very long way back for Ben Stokes and McCullum. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Ross Legg. How you doing, Ross?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. But mentally prepared for another blunder down under.
And Max Roy Brown, how you doing, Max?
Hello. Yeah, I'm fine. I am fine given the circumstances.
There's a few things that aren't cricket that we can talk about. Ross, you were supposed to be on 5 Live this morning, and then you were bumped because Mo Salah wants to leave Liverpool. And this is interesting as well. AI thinks the name of the presenters of this show are Jack, Matt, and Chippy. You've been completely replaced, Ross. Not just by
At least I sound a bit like my name.
not just by BBC 5 Live, but also by AI. How does it feel to be so replaceable?
Wonderfully irrelevant, it feels like. The ego's taken a bit of a battering, but never mind.
Look, there will be some cricket chat. We'll get that in a moment. Just want to tell people, though, to remember to click like and subscribe on whichever platform you are listening or watching on. And why don't you sign up as a Patreon? Patreon.com/thecricketpod if you want to support us directly. Max, let's get this over with. What happened?
Well, you mentioned a bruised ego, Ross. We'll get to that in a little bit. But to start the day, it was a question of can England pull off a miracle? I think we were in the realms of needing Ben Stokes at Headingley and Baby Ball. What we got was a one-session vigil from Ben Stokes and Will Jacks, who managed to go through the whole of the first session without losing a wicket, which is very impressive. They added some runs, not that many. Maybe they were trying to make a point. I don't know. But Ben Stokes eventually out for 50 and Will Jacks out for 41, both succumbing to Michael Neser, the man who did the damage today. The rest all fell pretty quickly after that, and Australia needed 63 to win. That was the target. 65 to win. And they did it, funnily enough. There were a couple of wickets just after tea. Gus Atkinson managed to nick a couple out. He bowled okay after a pretty bad first couple of overs. Jofra Archer was bowling really fast, and then Steve Smith decided that he was going to wind him right up, and he did so quite effectively, to be fair, hitting a 6 off the final ball to win, and Australia thumped England once again. It's all over, and that was that.
Ross, how much energy for a rant do you have?
I think I'm in pity mode, Jack, if I'm perfectly honest. I feel really bad for Ben Stokes. He's put an awful lot of faith in people like.
Keep going.
Okay. He's put a lot of faith into people like Ollie Pope. The years of backing the wrong horses, unfortunately, come home to roost. When he needed them most, they have not performed. Even after him going to bat time and time again for underperformance. Poor Ben Stokes.
Yeah. Poor Ben Stokes indeed. I think. Sorry, yeah. If anyone thinks we're being a bit weird, we are. I stayed up all night to watch the cricket. I don't know why I did that. All I've eaten in the last 12 hours are 3 M&S Big Mix chocolates.
You said the important thing, Jack, with the Ashes, didn't you? Was you need to pick the day to go for. Pick the day where you think is going to be good. And what? I don't know why you chose this one. Maybe a 1% chance of one of the most memorable days of cricket in history.
That was what I was thinking. I was thinking
I was there. Imagine if I was there for it. Yeah.
That's basically what was happening. I was like, the Ashes are going to be lost today, is what I thought about 2 a.m, 2 hours before the cricket started. Or the greatest thing that's ever happened in English cricket history is going to happen today. Probably the Ashes will be like 99% chance the Ashes are going to be lost. And so I cracked on.
Strapped
Stayed
in.
up another 2 hours.
Were you
watched the
drinking
first-
at 4 o'clock? Were you
No.
watching the cricket?
No, I did have some. I did have a nice Kiwi Sauvignon Blanc before 2 a.m. But by 4, the drinking had ceased, and it was just strap in for cricket. I did fall asleep during the cricket at some point. Like, I woke up and Australia were batting. But I didn't see. Actually, you know what? I didn't actually see England lose a wicket. So maybe it's on me.
Maybe.
For falling asleep.
Yeah.
It is weird.
Right,
I think if we talk about the crickets of Jack's existential crisis at kind of 4:30 in the morning, I think there's going to be a lot of talk, I think, from the England camp around how they can take pride in the resilience of what Ben Stokes and Will Jacks did. And I just think it's a load of shit. I'm just not sure they're going to be able to do that.
I can already hear in the back of my mind Michael Vaughan saying that. See, if you bat properly like that, you can do it. And it was today was an exercise in delaying the inevitable. There was nothing to be gained from it. But we are going to hear a lot about. See, look, England knuckled down and they were able to do it. Maybe they should, if they just completely ditch their entire way of playing cricket and do that for an entire game, they'll probably win, which I don't necessarily think is correct, but we are going to hear that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, what do you think is correct then, Max?
It's a good question because it hasn't gone well so far, has it? I don't think England are going to be able to compete doing that version of cricket either, right? Like, if you ask Zach Crawley to dig in for a bit, it's probably not really gonna go anywhere, is it? I think just England just need to take the opportunities when they come, like, especially bearing in mind that Australia are playing better than them, and it is a tough gig going away in Test cricket and winning. So we knew it was going to be tough, and it was going to require England to be the better versions of themselves, and I think we just haven't really seen that so far. I think there's an element, right, of some thinking about the way they're going about playing their shots, like, because some of it looks bad. The caught and bowls yesterday were pretty diabolical. I mean, some of the way they were going at those drives off Mitchell Stark the other day as well. It's a bad look, and it's fine to attack those shots, but you just think about the way they were like going full blooded at it. I think someone on the commentary, I don't know if it was Brad Haddon or someone, was just talking about like Crawley going at 80% when he got his 76, like not going full blooded at everything, just like at 80%, and that was when he looked quite good. And then he went full blooded at one and nearly nicked it. And being attacking without just like throwing your hands at the ball, basically, the kind of thing, something along those lines. Just temper it a bit rather than go straight into knuckle down mode, because all that will happen then is England will eventually get out to a ball and not have scored as many runs. So I don't know, what's my theory and what's my hypothesis? They just need to be better. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, just be better. Just don't be bad.
I did think that's what you were going for. It was quite a shaggy dog version.
It was a shaggy dog version of it. Yeah.
But
is there much else to say other than just be better? Like,
I don't know. Ross, boys, what's the answer here? Are Australia just too good at cricket? Talk to us about the Australians.
Their fielding and catching has been exemplary compared to England's, right? And I think that's the big thing. I don't think Australia are actually doing anything magnificently. They are literally just doing the basics really, really well, and that is good enough to beat England at this point in time. So they are just consistent in their performance. A lot of the players really know their game inside and out. Michael Neser comes into the side at his home ground, takes a fifer, and Australia looking like, they're absolutely geniuses, because obviously Nathan Lyon was sitting out this one. I think Neser hasn't really. I think he's only played pink ball Test matches. I think I'm going to hoist myself my own petard there. I think, but I can see him being picked ahead of Doggett in the next match, and with obviously Cumdog coming back in. England are staring down a 5-0 calamity, aren't they here, gents? Like, it's the ticker is well and truly up on the percentages on that one. But there is a couple of weeks break, Max. So the bit around being a little bit better, there's plenty of time, a bit of practice in, alongside the goal.
Or a 4-day holiday at the beach.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean that's why all the tickets are so expensive now to go to Lords, to go to Edgbaston, because we've got to pay for the cricketers to be off golfing in the nice part of the world.
And their new clubs.
What clubs do you reckon they use? Do you reckon any of them playing? No, go on, Ross. Talk to me.
Well, they're probably the quite good ones, Jack. Yeah, no, what do you mean? What clubs are you? Wooden ones?
Well, Hickory Shafts. No, I mean, like, what brand do you see Ben Stokes as? Callaway?
Callaway, man. Probably.
Do you reckon? Yeah.
I reckon there's a couple who've got Mizunos because they feel edgy.
Yeah. I think that's definitely true.
Do you reckon Ben Duckett has to get his sized properly, and he's got children's clubs?
Almost certainly, yes. Speaking as a man who is short.
Also using children's clubs?
Not quite. Should we move on? Should we move on from golf clubs? I feel like this.
Yeah, we can talk about the cricket. Michael Neser 5 wickets. Ross was talking about him. Max, who probably will play the next test, it would be quite a harsh dropping, wouldn't it? His first test at his home ground, he was pretty good. If we're being honest,
he was, really good. It's quite ironic, isn't it, that England have turned up with a battery of people who can push 90 miles an hour, and the guy who's done the damage largely in this case is someone who's just bowling about 130, 135 Ks on a length just outside off stump and doing a very good job. But I think as much credit as you give Michael Neser, you have to give credit to Alex Carey and I suppose Steve Smith as well, if he was part of the decision. Maybe Neser and Boland called for it as well. But the thing for me that I think it would be a bit much to say it turned the game, but it kind of exemplified the difference between the two teams in this test match was the moment that Alex Carey decided he was going to come up to the stumps for Michael Neser and Scott Boland, because in that first innings, England they'd recovered from a shaky start and they were looking good. It was the good time to bat. The ball was getting old. It was fairly flat. It was in the afternoon, and England were looking to kick on. And there was basically a moment where Harry Brook was in and he was doing what he normally does. It seems this series, like charging down the wicket and slapping them both through the covers, and it looked, like England were potentially going to put on one of their Bazball shows. And then Australia switched it up and Alex Carey came up to the stumps and he spent basically the entirety of the rest of the test match up to the stumps to Scott Boland and Michael Neser. And it cannot be missed how skillful that is, the amount of concentration that goes into that as well. To do it not just, for a bit, to try and mix things up, but basically the entirety of the rest of the test match and do it so well. He was unbelievable behind the stumps. It was an absolute clinic of wicket keeping, and it basically robbed England of their main plan of how they were going to try and get at Scott Boland and Michael Neser, and it pretty much resulted in the difference that we saw where Australia were able to make the most of those periods of play where it was a bit easier to bat, and England kind of got a bit stuck. Those Michael Neser wickets probably don't happen if you're not pinning them all on the crease and making them prod just outside of stump. Alex Carey taking a couple of catches as well, standing up to the pace as well. So it's, I just have to give a huge amount of credit to Alex Carey for the way he played, because that Australian game plan was one of the key factors, I think, in allowing Michael Neser to be that effective. Fair play. One from the Wicketkeepers Union. But
I reckon it's a Marnus Labuschagne idea, that one, from his stint in county cricket over the last couple of years.
Do you reckon they listen to Marnus Labuschagne on anything?
Absolutely not. No chance.
No.
The world's most irritating man.
Yeah, they all know that. They're not going to listen to him. Menners from Cricket Unfiltered has been in the chat. He says 5-0 incoming, Ross. I've done the maths on this. I reckon if we give Australia a 60% chance of winning every test, which is maybe on the conservative side. That's if Cummins and Hazelwood don't play the rest of the season. Yeah. That's a 22% chance of 5-0. would you take the under or over on 25% for 5-0 right now?
The good thing is that there's a couple of weeks break now. So it's not like England are going straight back in after 2 chastening defeats, right? So I think there's a little bit of time to get away from the game, go and play some golf, go and recalculate what's actually going on, come up with some more crazy ideas, drop Ollie Pope. That would be probably a good thing.
Will Jacks at 3?
Will Jacks looked excellent.
He looked pretty good.
England
yeah,
he was brilliant.
I said in the podcast Discord that if Will Jacks got more than 42, he would play in the next test as England's number 3. What did he make?
41.
Yeah, I don't think it will happen. I think Ollie Pope will keep his spot. I think that was the cut-off. 42 runs. I think they'd have been like, well, we want this guy. So I think it will be Shoaib Bashir next time. We'll obviously do a preview and get into it in a little bit more detail. But I think he's missed out by a run, Ross. But keep going.
So I think there is a chance for England to regroup, and it could. I'm hopeful. Like, I was so optimistic going into this Test series. I've been like, yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be great. And then England have just let us all down, unfortunately. The Australians listening to this are absolutely loving life. But I reckon England will win 1 Test match. I think they've got it in the locker. There's something there in this team that it will click. But I reckon there's quite a low chance of that happening.
Let's talk about what might make that happen. A fired up Jofra Archer, Ross. Is that a thing that we will see now? Everyone was giving it the big one about Steve Smith never getting out to him. Will that change?
Technically, never got out to him, but he did get bounced out once, didn't he? And taken out for a couple of weeks. So if I'm Jofra Archer, I'm counting that. Okay.
A little bit of physical harm. Little bit of a joke about concussion, like that, Max.
I think that the bowling has to be far more consistent, right? Carse was all over the shop. England wasted the opportunity with the new ball in the first innings. We were so expensive, and it just looked like England didn't really have too much of a game plan. And then, even if they did have a game plan, the bowlers were not sufficient enough to actually stick to that game plan. Even Jofra Archer was a bit wayward. I think Gus Atkinson's been typically consistent, Max, as you can expect from the Surrey bowler. But England's fielding is the thing that's let them down the most. Like the 5 drop catches is just that. We could talk about all the analysis, all the different part, but that was where England have lost this Test match.
Agree, Max?
I think I would really. I mean, I was sort of looking at the because Stuart Broad made a point before the pink ball test where he basically pink ball day and night tests are a lottery. It's just about when you get to bowl, and I think that was a bit of an exaggeration of the situation. But he has there's an underlying point there, isn't there, that you need to make the most of when you get the conditions in your favour. If you have a new pink ball under the lights, or if you get a little bit more under the lights, then you need to take your chances. And basically, those drops pretty much happened in that period of the game, didn't they? And England put them all down. And that meant that I think in the last session of the day, Australia, they across the Test match were 186 for 5 in comparison to England, who were 218 for 11. And that's quite a big gap, really. I mean, outside of that, Australia were a bit better than England, but that's, you add a few wickets to that Australia column and suddenly it looks a little bit more like parity, and England have got more of a shout. And I think that is a big part of it as well.
You did this yesterday. You just invented a timeline of where things went well for England, and then said, "Oh, it was pretty close, actually."
I didn't say it was close. I said they were closer.
Been battered. We've had 2 tests in a row.
Australia were nice to England as well. Like, literally, the amount of their batters who got proper starts and just threw their wicket away was staggering.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought the conditions for the test, the pink ball test, I think they nailed it this time. Some of the others, I think, really broad a little bit, that they can be a bit lottery-ish, and I wouldn't say lottery. Like, what if Australia won 14 out of 15 now? It doesn't sound like a lottery there.
Very, very lucky.
Yeah.
The numbers are 10.
I think Australia are just quite good at home, and maybe day-night tests do tilt that slightly further in their favour, but it's not ridiculously, I wouldn't say. But I thought that at Brisbane, the quality of the cricket that was on show was better than some of the tests at Adelaide, where there were periods of the game where it was just basically impossible to bat. In this match, I think mostly, if you played well, you could score runs.
Yeah,
there would be the odd hour here or there, but you get variable conditions everywhere in the world. Like in England, all the time, people will go on about green seamers.
We saw it in the
it's
summer,
almost always weather. Yeah, exactly. I mean, England were cruising to victory in the final test. A massive weather system blew in. They batted in the dark and lost 7 wickets. And Suraj bowled pretty well in the middle of that, but like the conditions change in test matches, and I thought the way the conditions changed in this match wasn't extravagant, really. I thought it was completely fun.
No, I think they were completely both. I think the sort of more of the point was like both teams had pretty much similar opportunities with the ball in the dark, in the day. They both, that was fairly even, and Australia made the most of their opportunities, and England didn't. That's kind of the line.
I really don't think it's that complicated, is it? Literally, Australia just did what you should do. They've taken their catches, they occupied the crease, hit some runs, and bowled to a game plan. Like I thought they were they were better than England. I do like in the chat of someone saying that England should be playing a day-night test at home, at least one test every summer. Why don't we do it in this country? That would be. I'd quite like to get to that.
Was it just once we did it against the West Indies?
I think they have done one. Yeah, there's been one test in the UK played with day-night conditions in the dark. It gets cold here, though. It does get cold. Like even you need a nice day. Yeah. Do you want to be outside in your shorts at 10 o'clock?
And I suppose the other thing as well, like if you did it in sort of June, late June, July, when around the equinox, it doesn't actually get that dark until I don't know, like 9. So it's
that's good. We had a super chat earlier on. Bazball's issue isn't brainless batting or fickle bowling plans. It's doubling down on its own Ashes narrative. If you keep saying judge us on the Ashes, then it is also fair to say run a million miles, get nowhere. Same results, just more bluster. That was from Sammy Ross. There's a bigger question here, maybe. Does England's obsession with the Ashes hurt them in the Ashes?
It must be infuriating for like all the other teams. Even like India. India are an unbelievable team, and it's always fantastic when they're coming over and touring in this country. And still, the whole thing is, we're going to blood in this person, or we're going to do this because of the Ashes. Like Josh Hull, for goodness sake, played a test match because they thought we were going to need him potentially in the Ashes. Like that is bananas on some of these things. So I think it does affect them. I think they put this on a massive pedestal. And if you look over even like the course of the last couple of years, India have come over, and Australia have come over. England haven't won those test series, right? At home. Australia, absolute machine at home, unless there's miracles that happen. And so it's really quite pathetic, isn't it?
Max, what do you think about that? Are England too obsessed with the Ashes? I like the Ashes. For what it's worth, I think it is the best series.
It is. I mean, I think for English cricket fans, the Ashes is like the culmination, isn't it? And it is like an England Ashes win in Australia is such a rare thing. It's quite a nice thing to aim for and build towards. But I suppose the point. You look. It's all about cycles, isn't it? When you're putting teams together, like you have to sort of have a cycle in mind, like whether it's the ODI team for the World Cup or same thing in football really for major tournaments. So I don't necessarily have an issue with like the concept of thinking that you are trying to build towards something, because like having a goal like that is quite a useful thing to know how you want to do and how you plan things out. But it does mean that when this all goes to shit and it's 5-0, they've not got any legs to stand on, so to speak. But I don't necessarily have an issue with them building it up or anything, because I think that's how we all see it. As long as you can do that in a sort of like a the environment they're trying to create where it's positive, and you're like, this is going to be great and we're all looking forward to it. But 5-0 incoming. I I do fear for some jobs.
Yeah, I think someone will have to be fired, won't they? It's 5-0. Right, it doesn't matter who really. Someone's got to go.
Ollie Pope.
Ollie Pope.
He's already been fired as vice captain.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about preparation before England went over in 2010-11. They went, I don't know, army training in Germany somewhere, didn't they? Ross, is the lack of preparation for this tour, the lack of army training in Germany, a potential issue here? Is the golf trip to Bali a potential issue? Like what's going on with this team? Should we be angry about it?
Yeah, maybe they need more team bonding exercises, like lots of trust falls and that kind of stuff. Yeah, they need like a motivational speaker, and they need Tony Robbins to come in and give them a good old rousing speech. A lot of teams like getting Sir Alex Ferguson to come and give them a little talk, don't they? So maybe Rob Key can employ that tactic.
Clive Woodward, he's done the circuit, hasn't he, as well?
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Taking inspiration from other sports, get David Brailsford, get Ineos to take over the England team, and get David Brailsford to.
What about David Brent?
David Brent, yeah, well that'd be interesting. Yeah,
David Brent and David Brailsford, spare no expense.
Throw the kitchen sink and try to get this victory, lads. Right. I think it's. I'm glad there's a couple of weeks break, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks for Jofra Archer to really, really ruminate over what Steve Smith said and see if he can bowl 160 Ks and break his arm. His own arm, not Steve Smith's, just to clarify.
So the good news for all of our listeners is you do not have to listen to the TNT commentary for the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
How delightful is that?
That is
the worst commentary I've ever.
You've got 2 weeks to sort yourself a VPN and get on the Channel 7 coverage online. Yeah. Maybe maybe we need to get back in touch with NordVPN and be like, we can really plug you.
We're doing it now, aren't you? For free. We can have money for what you've just done.
Many VPNs are available though, so until NordVPN come in with their cash, I would recommend several other options. Do your research and see what the best deal is at the moment.
I'll tell you who we will hear from. You said we're not going to be hearing TNT commentary. I'm sure we will be hearing from Michael Vaughan over the next 2 weeks.
You're about to say Chippy.
He has already started with being Michael Vaughan, called out the Australian team as a second string Australia. Max, is that fair? Are England not only 2-0 down, but are they 2-0 down via Australia's second team?
Second string bowling attack, apart from Mitchell Starc, yeah, but the rest of it is still pretty decent, isn't it? It's still got Steve Smith and Travis Head and Cameron Green and Alex Carey, and I don't think Khawaja being out really makes Australia any weaker. Arguably, make them quite a bit stronger. Yeah. So I think that's and Scott Boland has played quite a few tests for Australia and taken quite a few wickets. So I think it's a little disrespectful to the guys that have gone out there and beaten England, actually, to say that. I think Michael Ford needs to give his head a wobble.
Do you know what he's angling? Rob Key's job.
Oh, God.
No way.
Could you imagine?
Talk us through this. I want to hear your
reasoning.
Well, if you think of all the stuff around the preparation, he's talking about the structure of how England are approaching things. He's talking about the mixed messaging when it comes to kind of the leadership of blocking out all the noise, but it's only an echo chamber. Like all the stuff that Michael Vaughan's talking about is structural in the setup of the management team. And so I think him having a strong opinion on those things is kind of saying, look, there is an alternative way here. We also know the ECB board love big narratives.
The next player.
And they don't love what's happening next. So I wouldn't be too surprised if I saw Michael Vaughan as the new director.
That's a real consultant's insight, that, isn't it? We've got from Ross. It has to be.
That was actually maybe the most insightful thing Ross has ever said.
Related to his
Hadn't
job.
even occurred to me. Hadn't even occurred to me.
Remind me what Michael Vaughan's Ashes record down under is.
Yeah, that's what I was. I don't think it did, Max, did it? So
4-1. I mean, they won. They won a test, didn't they?
That's true.
They got injured for the other one, so yeah, could be worse. Yeah, Yeah, that's basically everything I think on this test. We've got to do heroes and villains. We'll do another show at some point, won't we? Like talking about this again, probably.
Sunday guests have arrived, so so
Your Sunday best.
Heroes and villains. Can we do a survey of Ross's guests?
Thanks for the invite. Ross, heroes and villains. Start with heroes.
I think Will Jack's good heroes today. I think really did try to bring it back, and him and Ben Stokes together. I think there's a lot of kudos that gives them. They were, as you said, just elongating the pain, but to show that resolve and that application, I think was a good thing for England. So those two as a pair, and Atkinson bowled well as well this morning.
Max, heroes.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with either Will Jacks or Ben Stokes. I suppose they both were pretty similar in their attempts. So I'm easy one way or the other. Jacks, Stokes.
So does anyone deserve the hero tag?
No,
Michael Nisa.
No. Yeah, Nisa.
Hero. That's what I would say was the hero.
Very nice playing in your home ground like that, and literally and he's.
I mean, there's a chance.
Annoying.
There's a chance he never plays a test match again. I think he probably has booked his place in the next test match, but there is a chance they drop him.
Well, they could. They bring in. They bring in Nathan Lyon again. Then the Doggett Nisa combo.
Yeah. Like it's certainly a possibility that was his best stand last test. So little shout out to him, little hero action there. Let's do villains. We'll go with you first, Max. Who was villain?
It can only be Steve Smith, can't it? For his little pop at Jofra Archer. Bolt fast when there's nothing happening. Champion. The thing about that is, like, he's completely right. Like, Jofra Archer was bowling really fast and it was completely irrelevant. It's the addition of champion that makes it villainous. It's like real like, needle, like poking the wounds kind of thing. But it's good to have needle. We enjoy it. It gives us a bit of energy for the test match and something to talk about. So I hate it and I like it at the same time. But it is villainous behaviour. So there you go.
Ross?
No, I'd agree with that. And Max, you kind of said around the champion point makes Steve Smith kind of sound like one of those, like one of the Americans that kind of like talks down to people using the term boy.
Yeah.
That's the vibes he gave off. So I'd also say villainous, just the England cricket team in general. Like, unfortunately, collective villain. Like very
they can't all be villains. You have to single people out for blame on this show.
I lost my rag a little bit at Ollie Pope yesterday, so I'm going to continue on that vein. Like, get Ollie Pope out of this England team. He's the villain.
Okay. Villain. I think myself. Why did I stay up and watch that? I've ruined my whole Sunday. I have to go back to bed. It's like we only get about 4 hours of daylight at this time of the year in the UK, and I've wasted it doing a podcast and sleeping. Ridiculous decision. So yeah, me. Look, I think that is it. Thanks very much to everyone in the YouTube chat. Thanks very much to people at home listening with their podcast.
I'm laughing a lot at a lot of Lions saying that Jake Humphrey will end up being the director of cricket.
That's not, So
go to the podcast world.
Even Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah, look, Diary of the CEO and High Performance Podcast combine to run English cricket. I do podcasts.
What could go wrong?
What I'd say, at least England are kind of fun. Like the last time, they weren't fun at all. Like, they were just bad. At least now, like, wild things happen regularly. Like, you get just crazy passages of cricket. Things that you'll never see. You just think it's impossible that a team would be this stupid or be this effective. Like, there's oscillation between good and bad. It is engaging to watch, even if you want them not to lose 5-0, and they probably will just lose 5-0 like every other team. They are a more fun team, and morally, I think we should claim that as a win. Like, it is more fun. I'm just going to say it's more fun being an England fan than a fan of anyone else.
South Africa must be pretty good right now.
They haven't got a test match for about a year. That's not fun. That's the opposite of fun. That's no fun.
Right, Jack, you need to go back.
Look, I do need to go back to bed. I'm completely delirious. Have a good one, everyone. Make sure you click like and subscribe. Goodbye.